And let's bring in ABC News White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks for more on what we've seen in the trial so far and what we can expect today. Mary Alice, good morning. The impeachment managers, up until this point, are definitely trying to appeal to senators' emotions. They're seemingly trying to remind them of how scary this all was as it was unfolding. But is that enough to persuade 17 Republican senators that former President Trump was responsible for the riot?
Well, as you heard John say, probably not, but there were definitely some Republican senators who left yesterday rattled. I was struck by comments from Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa, who said he felt he was oblivious that day to the totality of the violence. I think Democrats did an effective job showing just how close the rioters had gotten to the Senate chamber. And they also took pains to tell the perspectives of so many law enforcement members. You know, the Republican Party is often the party of law enforcement, the party that comes to the defense of police. And here we had time and time again police officers talking about being overwhelmed, being attacked, dozens who had unbelievable injuries after that day and who did everything they could to protect members of Congress from both sides of the aisle, but were absolutely overwhelmed by the mob.
And Mary Alice, how much of this presentation do you think is aimed specifically at senators and trying to sway their vote? And how much of it do you think is aimed at the American public, which House impeachment managers also know are watching these proceedings closely?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think that the shocking video definitely gets at every American. It's unbelievable to watch such violence in our nation's capital. It's terrifying to look at leaders in our government running for their lives. It's not something that we are used to seeing in this country. But the pillar of their argument and their case that actually is about everything before January 6th, that's really where Democrats are trying to convince Republicans. You know, they are trying to convince Republicans that former President Trump incited this riot, that the things he did in the days leading up to January 6th meant that January 6th was inevitable. And so even though those statements, that part of their case is not as shocking, it doesn't include never-before-seen footage, it's actually the meat of their case. And I was struck by how many Republicans said they were doing a good job. They thought Democrats were effectively laying out a timeline that built up to such a crescendo. You know, those were tweets way back in November and December that we all remember seeing. We remember seeing Donald Trump talking about how he didn't believe in the election. But reading those tweets again now, when you know what happened, well, they land really differently.
And Mary Alice, the House impeachment managers continue their opening arguments today. So what can we expect from that?
Yeah, they're going to conclude their opening arguments. They have about another 8 hours if they want to use it, but they're probably not going to use it all. I think that they have to go back to what Donald Trump did in those days leading up. We're probably going to have much more attention on his actions or his inactions and less on the rioters themselves.
All right. And I know tomorrow we will be talking about the opening arguments that we will then expect to hear from the defense. Mary Alice Parks, always great to have you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.